Hi everyone, welcome back to our How to Master Opening series. I'm Filippo. So in last session we started with the 2-star opening for both black and white. So we stopped at when what if black plays this nice move. In this case today we are going to continue on what if black approaches instead of defending. So since it's symmetrical from the top and bottom, let's focus on the bottom left first. So in this corner there are 3 ways for black to approach. One is to approach here, one is to approach here, and 3-3. So let's focus on this approach first. Why we do this approach first? Because this approach is corresponds to what we traditionally know, that we need to approach from the wider side and from the side that we have our own stone, which is the bottom right star point. So from this direction, black 1 is easy to get some, let's say, influence on the bottom. So since black is approaching from the bottom side, traditionally it's considered a bit overplay to play the pincers. For example, if you pincer here or pincer here, black is easy to start a fight, and you can see that white 2 is clearly outnumbered in this case. Though it's in the modern theory it's playable, but since this is a fighting kind of opening, so in a more easy way, white usually choose the defensive strategy, which is to play the 2 knight move defense. In this case, traditionally we see a lot of old kind of joseki like this. So this is actually a classical opening in the 1990s, especially played by those Korean professional players, including Lee Chang-ho. So when I was learning Go, I played a lot of his Go records, and I see lots of this kind of similar openings. So after that, white approaches here or approaches here. So I saw a lot of this, but we see that in a large komi, black seems to be dispersed in very small kinds of territory instead of big moyo. So in this case, black seems not very efficient in this case. The reason of that is because the moves 3 and 5 is a bit too slow in the modern theory. At least locally we want to play this attach and honey. We've seen this joseki in previous cases, and I will not elaborate too much. However, there are even more aggressive kind of moves now, because we see that the exchange of 1 and 2, after the exchange of 1 and 2, since the white stone 2 is at the lower 9, which is third 9, it's not very aggressive for white to continue play this kind of attack. So instead, black can actually tenuki to play the top left corner, which is either 3-3 invasion or approach here. It's not very good for black to approach from this side, because we see that it's very solid for the bottom left corner of white. So white can just easily defend or kusumi and jump, or simply just pincer. Either one is okay. So this is probably not the best direction of approach. Instead, this approach is more common. So since white is already choosing the defensive style, if white chooses the defensive style again, so black can easily defend whatever corner he wants. So in this case, if black defends a corner, we can see that white is a bit too, let's say, slow. If you kusumi and the pincer, black will counter pincer and then start a fight that is not necessarily bad for black, because we can see that actually white is outnumbered on the side. So instead, white will probably focus on the bottom right corner, which is this 3-3 invasion. And then since now from the last session we know that the move 3 actually helping the ladder, so black can actually block and play this nice move. If white play this to avoid the super complicated kind of joseki, black can actually play this move and force white to choose a joseki that is unfavorable, because now the ladder works for black. We can see that from a diagonal this is Atari here. So white have to play this one, and black will get the center. In this case, white may choose to play some joseki like this. However, we can see that with the support of the top right corner and especially move 5, the stone of 32, 26, and 22, these 3 white stones are now in jeopardy. It's very hard for white to fight the way out. If white choose, black can also just capture. If white extend, black will jump, and then white jump, and black play this nice move. We can see that the top right corner and the stones 3 are all helping this moyo. So in this case, at least I would say that the efficiency of black stones is very much maximized. If you choose this joseki, however, it's kind of complicated, but once again, since black has too many supporting stones, let's say 1 and 5, black easily gets influence outside and make white very uncomfortable. So let's see an example of, let's say, if white choose this, let's see, so we see that the move 5, move 1, and then move 3 are all kind of helping black to get a central influence. So in this case, I would say that at least black is getting a chance of starting fighting advantage. So this is kind of complicated. So instead, let's say white has a way to avoid this kind of complicated by not allowing black to place another move on the right. I'll do the approach here, or 3 invasion, or this approach first to prevent black from, let's say, getting too many stones on the right hand side. As a counterattack, of course, black may want to play this double knight approach, and then this is a common joseki we get to know. In this case, perhaps this Kosumi is not very good, because after white's jump, this A and this B becomes a miai. So in this case, you can only, for black, you can only get one, and then white will get another. So instead, black will choose this two space extension, maybe. So after that, white will pincer and then play this. So it will likely to be a result of something like this. And then it all depends on whether black can attack the top and then settle on the left. So once again, it's a kind of equal Joseki for both players, but it requires a lot of kind of standard to handle it. Of course, we know that traditionally, if we want to avoid the complicated kind of variations, we can play this, but it's not very efficient, as we know, but according to the AI. So after black plays this, now white can tanuki to maybe approach here or play the 3-3 or play this. So the top left corner, this locally is good for black, and unless you are winning a lot, I'm not recommending white to play this kind of Joseki anymore. So after we discussed about how black will do to play this approach, we are going to see what if black plays the 3-3 invasion. So this 3-3 invasion, of course, we know that since it's backed by the 2 star points on the right, it's definitely the ladder always works. So in this case, white has 2 ways to block. One is here. So if white choose to block this cell, it's almost certain that white will not choose this variation, because after we choose this variation, we can see that black shifts to the left, and then it contradicts to white's kind of development on the left, and the white's development on the top is limited by this top right corner star point. So instead, white will choose something like this or this to strengthen the left hand side further. However, since we know that the stone 2 is at the lower point, it's not very efficient for white to develop a moyo on the left hand side. So in this case, white will probably tanuki, but in the future, black will do this kind of split move and attack these 3 stones. So this is a playable opening. If white wants to do something else on the top left corner, white will block on this way. In this case, white will not tolerate black to Kasumi out, because after this Kasumi, once again the left hand side is broken, and then white needs to do this kind of extension to settle. So it's once again not very efficient from a whole board point of view. So instead, white will play this honey and attach. In this case, white will shift to the left, and then although it's still, as I said, this is the lower point. However, in this case, white at least gets a sente, and then white will try to attack. So that's what will happen if black plays this 3-3 invasion. So that's pretty much what if we already seen what if black play this approach and this 3-3 invasion. And then of course, if black plays this kind of defend, white can also defend. Let's see other kind of response to this approach. Of course, we know that kick and jump is a classic Joseki and always works for white. And we've already seen what things will happen if black plays this kind of 3 space extension and white plays this second line placement. I will not repeat this. And then, so basically this is once again a very kind of classic AI Joseki. So another way to respond to this is not pincer. Of course, pincer is not recommended by the AI tool. Instead, white can choose to play this 3-3 invasion, not this one. Why not this one? Because we know that this stone 1 is actually helping the ladder. So if black choose this variation or choose this variation, white is sometimes the ladder doesn't work for white. So instead, white will play the 3-3 invasion here. If black choose this kind of variation, we know that because there is a lack of approach on the top left corner, it's no longer always work for black in terms of ladder. So if white wants to choose the complicated variation, white can choose this. If white does not want, white can also do this. Saving the stone of defending the bottom left corner allows white to get help on the top, which is sometimes good for white. Of course, white can also choose to approach. Of course, in this case, it would be kind of a kind of mimic kind of opening. However, this approach is not purely mimicking. It's kind of allowing black to play. When black plays this double knight move, white will not blindly play this. White will play this attach extend. If you play this attach, white will cut, and then the stone 2 actually helps the ladder. So we see a lot of opening relates to ladder. So ladder is really an issue that we want to focus when choosing different opening, especially for star opening. In this case, white will play this, capture this stone, and then black needs to invade to the left hand side somehow by maybe attach here or play the 3-3. If you play 3-3, white will probably play choose to get a moil in the center and allow you to take the corner. So instead, of course, if white blocks this way, black is very happy to get the territory off. So black really wants to choose the direction by attaching here. If white choose this variation, black territory is very solid in the corner, and then white is, we can see that white, comparing with the 3-3 invasion, white is kind of worse off because black is too big and black still have the head on the top. If you connect, black will play this nice move, and then once again black gets the center and returns to the top right corner. It seems that white is a bit unsatisfied because black gets the corner very comfortably. So black perhaps will choose this honey, and then it all becomes like, once again black spends a move to break what white have on the left. However, white gets a center to get to the top right corner. So I think this is a acceptable opening for both pairs. So that's pretty much what will happen if black play the approach first. Of course, there are other kind of response. For example, this jump, and then black will play this one, and then white will go to invasion. It's pretty much the same if white choose to defend on this corner. So you either choose to defend or choose to counterattack, for example, to let's say do the 3-3 invasion. So the key thing to remember that when black approaches at 1, so when black approaches on the bottom, it's the logic of black is trying to develop influence on the right and bottom. So with the back of the key of black is the bottom right star point, and to when white defends, when white defends, so in this case black will efficiently get some support on the bottom right hand side. So for white, if white want to play a passive kind of style, white can always try to defend and then invade later. If white wants to counterattack, white will choose to, let's say, invade the bottom right corner. And that's the key of opening. So basically for opening, you can choose the way that the opponent choose, and then you beat the opponent on their way. You can also lead the opponent to your own way. So it's all about how to choose your opening style. Okay, so that's all for today's How to Master Your Opening. Thank you for watching. If you like our video, please subscribe us and follow us on our social media. And thank you. I'll see you next week in our next How to Master Your Opening series. Thank you. Bye.